Jonathan, Corporate Director, Revenue Strategy and Distribution for Storey Hotel Management Group, coming to us from, where are you at? San Francisco, right?
San Francisco, yeah.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in the very cool Margaritaville in Lake Conroe, just north of Houston, in the Jimmy Buffett suite today. So
Very nice.
I'm having a good day. So why don't we start off with tell us a little bit about what you've been experiencing over the past few months.
Yeah, so I actually started with Storey early in February, so I've only been with it for about 6, 7 months. It was right before pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Actually, we were monitoring it right from the beginning, some coronavirus things, because one of the properties that we have in downtown San Francisco has a pretty big base of Chinese travelers, and so at the time, our thought process was that it was just really going to affect that traveler group, and then over the course of the next 4 weeks, things really exploded, and uh, we find ourselves in our current situation. But many ups and downs throughout the process, but overall, it's been a great learning experience. I give it that.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your properties, locations, type of hotels they are, things like that.
Yeah, we're mostly boutique properties. We have one larger scale property that's in construction. It's actually scheduled to open in September. Obviously, with all that happened, we got delayed. Now we're looking at an April opening next year. That's the Ameswell. That'll be in Mountain View. It's 255 keys. But other than that, we're mostly boutique hotels. So operating now, I have Enchanté Boutique Hotel in Los Altos. It's 19 keys. Park James in Menlo Park, which is 61 keys. We also have a 75 key motor inn in San Francisco. That's the Royal Pacific Motor Inn. That hotel is actually currently being leased to the government. So we leased it to the city government in order to assist with things there, and it's worked out beneficially for both the owner and the city.
Yeah.
And we have one
So,
other property in Napa that has now closed permanently, and they're going to renovate and reopen in 22. So
oh, okay. I would imagine a lot of hotels are going to do that.
yeah, I
It,
think that we're entering that time of the pandemic. We're going to see a lot more.
yeah, yeah. If they're able to come back, I think we'll see that. So that's pretty interesting. So you had everything closed, right, and then some reopened.
Yeah, so we closed all of the hotels basically by April 1st. Once the demand kind of fell off a cliff in the middle of March, there wasn't much of a reason for us to stay open. However, Enchanté, we did open in the middle of April. The ownership there felt strongly about keeping people employed and maintaining that staffing level. So we did reduce staffing to some degree, but we were able to bring everyone back, and we've been operating there since the middle of April. We only had about a 2 week break in which we were closed. Um, and to be honest, they're much further along than the properties that we reopened along the way. They do better occupancy wise. They have more of a rate draw. So it's been a bit better of an experience for them. But
Is that due to their location and the type of hotel, or?
it's a little bit higher end, and most everything in Santa Clara was closed. And with it only being 19 keys, it's a little bit easier for us to be more competitive and hold out for rate. Um, But honestly, like, as I compare it to other properties, as everybody starts to come online, and I've played with my star comp sets at both properties that I'm really focused on to see what's happening market wise, they're doing much better than pretty much anybody that I've come across. So,
Hmm.
been a success to this point.
That's good. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of the steps that you've taken for, in your role as a revenue manager. I mean, the data challenges, the unknowns. Like, what's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, data challenges has definitely been a thing. I've had to piece a lot of different data together from different sources. So I'm taking information from OTA partners, from you know pieces I'm getting from different markets, both San Jose and San Francisco. I'll monitor those different revenue managers that I keep in contact with, and kind of seeing how people are pacing into months and weeks and what's impacting it. We've had a lot of impact from the wildfires in our area. Along with that, we've had some heat waves that are kind of sparking the wildfires further. But every time we get a heat wave, we've seen an increase in occupancy and a little bit more demand there for us to drive off of. So it's really these like micro events that we have to pay attention to now, that it's not as macro where we had, corporate business was a huge layer of our business, and it's just become a little bit more granular, basically. They have
Yeah.
attention to the weather and fires and all these
Yeah.
different things that maybe you would have paid attention to before, but they didn't have as much weight as they have currently.
Yeah. I'm hearing that more and more that revenue managers have to look at the now, the week. Like, maybe something's happening next week that they know about the weather. Like down here, the Gulf's been really busy, hurricanes, storms. Louisiana got hit, so hotels of, I saw them on I-10, the emergency crews, they got to sleep somewhere. So that's interesting. So what else has been going? What do you see for the next few months?
Well, I'm not worried. I mean, November and December in this market are never great. They're just they are what they are. The holiday season is kind of just, we get what we get. However, we're in that world right now because most of the business that's driven here is corporate based, so whether that's group or corporate travel. So we're just trying to find different options. That we're doing a lot of leisure programming, a lot of drive market things. We can't really have events, so we've been doing a lot of dinner and music, like live music. So we put together a lot of different packages and a lot of different offerings that are around having live music, but not necessarily charging a ticket price. We can't have just bar guests. So it's about combining it with, a room product and a food and beverage credit and this, opportunity to, see live music, which is something that's gone away. And we're able to do it in kind of a socially distanced environment. And we've seen some pretty good success off that.
That's good. That's good. And so you're communicating. I'm assuming you still got some marketing help on staff, and they're communicating out to guests.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've had to take on some of the marketing. We also have some people else on the Storey team that have done some marketing things. We actually don't have any sales staff left currently at any of the properties. We've kind of absorbed that at the corporate level as much as we can.
Yeah.
We have partnered with some PR companies specifically for Park James as we've made changes there to both our menu in the F&B outlet and having some of these other offerings like the music and entertainment things that I've spoken about. But we've partnered a little bit there, but a lot of what we've done in terms of finding entertainers is partnering with them so that they have the opportunity and they have enough of a following that they can send out their own social media. And it has to be a two-way street because we don't have enough marketing power on our own and they don't either, or they
Yeah.
have opportunities. So it's been a lot of developing partnerships with a lot of these entertainers and different groups. We've done some art groups and we have some other things coming up. So
Great. That's smart. I like that. So with the time remaining, any advice for hoteliers going through this?
yeah, revenue manage everything. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of revenue managers in my, network losing their jobs or being laid off or kind of pushed to the side. Revenue managers are capable of doing more than just hotel demand. I've actually learned a lot about, doing revenue management on the finance side and F&B and paying attention to that. And I think that our industry has been slowly moving towards revenue management in other disciplines. And it's just, I think this is the time to accelerate it and really lean on that portion of your staff to know that you can make inroads in other places. And revenue management definitely helps us get there. So lean in.
Lean in. All right. That's some good advice. Well, thank you for joining me, Jonathan.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for having me.